Oops.
You need to clap, Vaughn.
I already did.
Oh.
We're going to come back to that.
I already did clap.
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. I want to remind you that the LHRL podcast is censored, so you don't need to worry about listening to this with your kids in the car. You are safe. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you on it. For $3.99, you can be part of the Lift Heavy Run Long community, where you will receive 4 barbell strength workouts, 4 daily WODs, and 3 bodyweight workouts that you can do just about anywhere. At your kitchen, at your home, at your office, in your yard, in your neighbor's yard, at the pool.
In your neighbor's yard.
Just wherever you want to break it down, you can do that.
You could be the guy that breaks into your neighbor's backyard and like drinks their beer and leaves cans and does
That's
bodyweight
Vaughn's
exercises.
neighbor. You can do
and
it
does
with
bodyweight
That is-
exercises.
That is, and not me. It's my neighbor.
And for $9.99, you can have access to all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. We want you to be on it. We think it's a good deal. The goal is to bring fitness to as many people as possible, as inexpensively as possible. If you know someone who needs fitness in their life and they can't afford $3.99 a month, email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and I'm happy to add them to the app free of charge. Valerie Hunt is the trainer on there, so you can't get much better than that. If you have Valerie Hunt, like if you don't know who Valerie Hunt is, then you definitely need to be on the app so you can learn who she is, because then you're on your way.
You need to do a podcast with her.
She's kind of a
Well,
big
we
deal.
have. Technically, we have at least once.
We've done a podcast with her over the phone,
Okay.
but it's not the same. I want
It's not
people
the
here.
same anymore. You got to bring them into the studio. We're
Wasn't
big time
there
now.
a thing where she might happen to be nearby the studio so that she could come onto the podcast?
She's gonna come in and do a running clinic.
Should we talk about that?
We can talk about that.
Do we know when?
No,
Okay, well, let's not talk about it.
no. We don't have any dates. That will happen though. I feel confident.
Do I need to harass you about that every week like you harassed me about Big Hill Pond?
Probably, because she's the kind of person that'll get it done.
Maybe I should call her then.
Do that,
Okay.
because she'll schedule it. She already had me. I talked to Lynn and Brittany about the gym.
I'm going to take over.
Speaking
Stand
of
up, let
that,
happen.
we're going to have Brittany on soon.
Yeah?
That's right. Which should have happened a long
B-Dizzle?
time ago.
Boom.
B-Dizzle. So B-Dizzle will be on here. We've got a lot of potential guests. Like I've got so many people that are kind of in the.
Well, you asked her.
in the
She's like,
queue.
no.
You know who's really good at talking to people and reaching out to people?
You.
Vaughn.
I am. I can be good at that. Depends on the situation.
Well,
I
he did.
want you to call 5 people every day that you don't know. and
Yeah,
ask them to be
I'm
on the
not going to do that. Yeah.
Vaughn was responsible
This is
for the
nightmare.
guest in the beginning. Vaughn did all the guests.
Yeah, he did.
That's awesome.
He did.
That's
He
right.
handled all
I'm just
that.
giving you a hard time about
So
your
if,
slightly
if that's the
introverted
goal,
tendencies.
if that's what you give Vaughn to do, he'll do it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that that's something. He never knocked on my door late at night and said, "Hey, would you mind if I got the guest for the next so and so?"
Right.
So and so?
That's my thing, I think. Like I was thinking about that today when someone, it might have been
Hey, Tanya Gonzalez is a new subscriber on the LHRL app. Great to have you, Tanya. That just happened. Go ahead.
Oh, right. I was like, what? Okay. Well, like I was thinking about today on the Slack channel on our ambassadors thing. Somebody said, "Well, something's not working." I'm like, "Well, I'll fix it." Like that's what I do. Like you tell me something to do, and I'll do it. Especially if I can knock it out right then. Like if I'm not like today, I was just sitting there looking at the Slack channel, and I didn't have any other thing occupying my mind. And the guy goes, "This isn't working." I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix that." I fixed it. You know, I know how to do that. I know. Just don't ask me to be creative about it. Like, you know what? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I think there's a level of self-awareness there that I respect. And I've heard you say that before. Give me a list of things to do and I'll do chores, but I'm not good at just doing stuff.
Right. Like, I'm not good at figuring out what exactly we need to do unless it's something I'm really good at. Like if you told me you wanted to learn how to ollie on your skateboard, I could tell you how to do that. Mm-hmm. You know. So.
Ooh, how do I turn my volume off?
See, that's a hard thing.
Oh,
Yep,
boy.
you get looped in there with the phone, and it's hard to get rid
We
of.
have like an all-star cast of people watching right now.
Who are there?
Chris Perry, Holly Rawls, Steve Mathis, Papa G.
There we go.
My wife
Matt
is
Hall. Yeah, I was gonna say
Matt Hall's
Hall.
watching. And there's probably other people that it's not showing me that I'm not necessarily friends with on Facebook, but those are the all-stars that I know are watching.
Well, what up to my wife watching? That surprises me.
She
I
took
haven't seen Matt Hall in too long.
my suggestion to heart. I said you're gonna want to watch this one live.
Oh, well, you put it all in the group.
I was like, you're gonna want to watch this one live because you never know what's gonna end up on the copy room floor.
You're right.
What's gonna get edited out of the actual podcast?
Nothing, because I don't want to edit anything.
Well, then,
It's so much
well,
easier
just
when
in
you don't
case
have to.
they're watching, my son called me right before I got here, and he had a basketball game tonight, and he goes, a Euro stepped around 2 guys, got fouled, and made both free throws.
What's a
Nice.
Euro step?
It's some basketball move where you, I don't know,
Where you step around them.
step
and-
around people
Yeah, all right.
So Gary's
In a
rubbing it
European
in.
way.
He's at the beach
in a
right now.
European way, not an American
Not
way.
an American step
The
around.
American step is really different. But
Papa G was going to be our guest tonight if he didn't find that vacationing with his family was more
He,
important. than
after
he's
having
enjoying the
triple
beach right
bypass surgery, he's at the beach. Like
Yep.
he was at a competition at the gym, like days.
3
after
days
he-
later.
looking like he was going to compete.
I mean, he looked good. He looked great.
Yep.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Hey, our future guest Richard McCracken just said hi.
He did.
He did.
All right, Richard, we'll see him in 2 weeks.
Boom.
We won't have a podcast next week because we'll be on the beach.
Oh,
Ain't that right?
so it's okay when you guys go to the beach, just not other people go to the beach.
You know what? Y'all
That's
can
right.
come in here and run this.
We could totally do that. I have keys to the building.
Yep.
As long as he leaves everything, he's gonna take his laptop. We could use mine, possibly.
What could go wrong?
Nothing. It'd be a lot of fun.
Make it happen.
Hey, do we have any reviews?
We're going to get to that, but first
Okay.
I want to introduce all of you lovely people.
Oh yeah.
Oh, who are we?
I got the most beautiful woman in the world sitting right here next to me, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, jacked and tan.
Hi.
How are you, Dr. Horrell?
I am pretty good.
You're looking fly.
Oh, thank you.
Looking very good.
Thank
Have
you.
a good week.
Yes, it's been busy.
You got an iWatch coming tomorrow. That's
I
exciting.
do. I'm super excited
Oh
about that.
God!
That's
Do you
good.
realize that like millions of Apple fans just cried out simultaneously because you called it an iWatch?
What is it?
It's an Apple Watch.
It's an Apple Watch. That's right.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
That's my job to call everybody out on their crap.
I had no idea.
Yeah, don't call it an iWatch.
Okay. She's getting an Apple
That's
Watch
cool.
tomorrow.
What is there? Like, what kind did you get?
The black one. I don't have no idea. I just saw it and wanted one. Jennifer got one at work and it looks pretty cool.
I wouldn't mind having one, to be honest.
Because I've been wearing my Garmin and they've kind of made fun of me in the ER today for wearing a pretty decent outfit and then walking around with this big clunky Garmin on. They made
Well,
fun
I'll
of
tell you,
Here's
that's the only reason why I got the Phoenix 5 was
Yeah.
because it looks sexier on my arm than
I
that
tell you
920
what,
XT.
that is the only reason I would get rid of my 920 that I have is if I could get one of those because that's
It just looks better.
It
Like
looks
when you're
awesome.
not running,
Right.
it looks better on your arm.
Yeah, because I've been walking around the hospital with this on for the last couple of years and
when you're running, it looks awesome.
they kind of give me a hard time.
I mean, it looks awesome. Yeah.
A hard time, get it time.
Womp, womp.
Wah, wah, wah.
The Reverend
Hello.
is in the house.
I am in the house.
So good to see you,
I
Rev.
wasn't here last week.
And you were
Yeah.
here like 5 minutes early, so we got 5 extra Vaughn minutes.
That's right, you did.
But for those of you at home, sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Sorry
about
you
that.
missed it. We had a great conversation about things
We're going to get back to that.
Things you put in a bowl with milk.
Things you put milk in. What constitutes cereal for 500?
Things you eat in a bowl with milk for 1,000, Alex.
And we have the best looking cameraman in the business, Mr. Brian Swanson.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you?
I am well.
I know you are. We've been here discussing things. I got to tell you, though, you threw me off because you checked in to Lift Heavy Run Long. I was in there
I didn't mean to break your heart.
on the potty, and I was like, woo, I got to wrap this up. Brian's here. Brian's here. I'm so excited.
Got to pinch it off.
Brian's here.
Well, hey, I have something to say.
And he wasn't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
That was
cut
it.
you off.
That was
But he said, I'm doing well, and he's been ducky for like the last
I
6
told him that.
Oh, my
I told him that.
God.
Not even thinking about it, he just spouted off, I'm doing well.
That's
I told him
good.
that when he got here. Wow, that's crazy that you
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah.
I think that's an
Didn't mean to
improvement.
throw you guys off by
That's
answering
awesome.
You
differently.
didn't throw me off. I just noticed that you're doing well, which is a great thing.
That's a good thing.
Things are starting to click.
Good.
I'm
Good.
finally finding a routine. Life is good right now.
Good.
So
Awesome.
We discussed that. That would have to be a
it is.
a really,
It is interesting that all three
hard
of you guys
thing.
noticed that.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that makes me happy.
Even me.
Hey, there's a new subscriber to the 3-month deadlift program.
All
Look at
right.
that.
It
Really?
works. It
Tanya
works.
Gonzalez.
can we? You know what I need you to work on
Not
before
looking at my
next
phone?
next episode
What?
is we need like a little machine that's
My
piped
hair?
into the podcast audio feed that does like a cha-ching, like every time you get like a you get a subscriber, like a cha-ching.
It don't happen
cha-ching.
that often. It
Oh.
was a stroke of luck.
I think if we did that, people would go out of their way to subscribe during the show just to make that noise.
think it would help.
I think it would.
And we need like their ticker thing that goes across the bottom, like at the ale house when you sign in and you drink a beer of that flavor or whatever, it rolls around.
It's totally a
Ooh,
thing.
I like the ticker.
A little
idea.
ticker tape at the bottom of the screen. Can
And who-
Facebook
who-
do that?
Like ticker, who's watching
Well, it turns out it already
live?
does that. If you comment and you go back and watch the feed, it comes up and shows like when they comment. Like it tells you exactly what time during the. video
Everybody
that
needs
they
to comment that hasn't commented that's watching.
Well, if we can't get them to leave them a review, I doubt we're going to be able to get them to leave us money.
Hi, Allison. At work, Allison.
Hey,
Meredith.
Allison at
Your
work.
Yeah, she's on the nurses at ICU. That she watches us.
Awesome.
Hey, we need to talk about something. The censorship of the podcast. Am I going overboard with this thing?
No, I just like to give you a hard time about it.
Talk to me. Talk to me, Goose.
You're not going overboard. You want somebody else's opinion besides mine?
Well, if you're the only one that has an opinion, then that's cool.
I just like to give. I mean, no. I think for the reasons that you've stated, it's important that we do the censorship because it keeps it family friendly and anybody can listen to it. And they don't have to worry about it. Their kids are in the car and other stuff. I think this would be a completely different podcast if we weren't censored.
I do too.
And that's not necessarily for the better or for the worse. It would just be different.
Correct.
I don't know. I have a couple of things to say about that. Number one.
Bleep, bleep, bleep.
No, you.
Sorry.
I don't mind cursing at all. I like cursing. It's great. Number one, the first thing I thought was it matters to your podcast whether you have the explicit lyric thing or not, right? And that somehow affects your podcast ranking. But I shot that down earlier this week when I was thinking, well, Joe Rogan has one of the most famous podcasts in the world, and there is zero censorship, right? So that's obviously out the window. So we could cuss as much as you want.
Bend that thing the way that you want it and leave it there.
Oh, well, I can't do that.
Well, every time you start talking, you bend it towards your mouth and go. Woo, woo,
Oh,
woo,
am
woo,
I
woo.
touching it while I'm talking?
Yes.
Sorry. The second thing I was thinking is I cuss way too much. And so I don't want to be like on the podcast saying a bunch of cuss words.
Why not?
I don't know. I just feel bad about it.
You're afraid your kids are going to watch this someday and think less of you?
Well, not my kids, and somebody will watch it and be like, oh, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
I think we should be our authentic selves, and everybody should take us or leave us for who we are.
I agree to a
No,
certain...
you don't. You've already said you don't agree. Because you don't want people to know that you cuss. You don't want
Wow, Brian.
recorded video.
To a
I don't know that
point.
necessarily means that that's your authentic self or not. The fact that you don't want to cuss everywhere because you have certain beliefs or raised a certain way doesn't mean that you're being inauthentic. can mean that you're being respectful for a purpose. I act differently around different people. I don't think that is necessarily being inauthentic as much as it is a situational thing.
Fair enough.
You know, the same way that I'm
Point
not
taken.
going to act in a locker room that I'm going to act at Sunday school. You know, things are just different. And I don't know that the cursing is good or bad. I don't really know why I feel so strongly about it. I think it's because I just generally don't do the right thing. And I feel like here's an opportunity to not do the wrong thing. I'm not going to look back and say, man, we should have cursed a lot. I don't think.
I totally agree with you. I don't think we will ever look back and be like, man, we should have allowed more cussing.
And then sometimes I hear podcasts and I feel like it's like, oh, wow, this is great. We got microphones. Parents are out of town and we can just cuss.
Right.
It's like that doesn't really.
There's cussing going on in the commentary right now.
Is there real? Well, is it Scott Hollis?
It's Gary.
Scary.
He asked what was
I don't
censored,
know.
and Dawn said it was.
Well, here. I'll just go ahead and tell a story. So, the reason that I'm feeling this way is because I went with a bunch of my neighbor friends to.
Would you believe we got another subscriber while we're sitting here?
I'm
This
telling
never
you,
happened.
it's a
There you
thing.
go. Anyway,
Welcome, Matt Hartenberg.
There you go, Matt.
Sorry.
Welcome aboard, buddy.
That's so rude.
We went to the Memphis Brew Bus where we got on a bus with a bunch of guys and drove around to breweries and drank pretty much all afternoon. And then our wives met us at a thing for dinner. And then we were sitting there with a bunch of people and we had been drinking some beers and stuff and got a little bit loose. And like I was cursing a lot. And my wife was like, would you stop? You're cursing a little too much. Because I really don't know a lot of these wives and people. And I was like, oh, okay. And so
Situational awareness is important.
situational awareness. Like I was just thinking, like, oh, well, you're right. I probably shouldn't. If somebody's offended by that, now I've just ruined what this person thinks about me, even though they don't even know me. You know what I mean? And so to bring that into the podcast, you're like, well, you could either do it and turn people off or just not do it and still be authentic. It's the same as being a comedian. Like you watch a comedian that can be really funny without having to say dirty words, and that's a really good comedian. If that dude's really funny. He doesn't need to drop F-bombs and say vulgar things every 5 seconds to be funny. But at the same time, people can use those words and be even more funny if they use them in the right way. Does that make sense?
I agree.
So that's my little small rant about that.
I agree with you. I think we're doing the right thing.
I think we are.
And Swanson, I appreciate your agreeing with that too. I appreciate that y'all have input, and I just didn't want to be the guy that was constantly like, "Duh, duh, duh."
No.
Well, I don't say curse words on this show. These two do. I'm not the one. I'm not-
They're the ones with the potty mouths,
they
not
are.
me.
They talk way dirtier than I do.
Amanda.
Oh,
especially.
apparently all we got to do is give you a couple beers and you'll start talking dirty.
That's right.
But I limit that too.
I don't cuss. What are y'all talking about? I got really quiet.
Really, it's just Brian, guys. Amanda.
I
talks.
cuss for no. I'm a sailor's son, so I got a potty mouth. I'm proud to use it. I'm a Yankee sailor's son, so I use them as adjectives, adverbs,
Man,
syllables. I can use cuss words all over the place.
I see the subscriptions rolling in.
You're going to be putting down some cuss words over the next few months because race season has started for Mr. Swanson.
It
Yep.
has.
Now, is that just for Swanson, or is that like a race season has started?
I don't know. There's been races going on every weekend in Memphis, but my schedule.
Is there a time of the year that's like, okay, now we start?
Well, so the biggest thing that's driving for me what I call race season is the Memphis Runners Track Club's road race series starts up this weekend, and that's 10 races over 5 months, and so 2 races a month are just part of the road race series, and I have other races interspersed in there, sometimes on the same weekend, sometimes on opposite weekends. But
You have a motherload of races.
I have 2 races this weekend, a 4-miler on Saturday and then a 5K on Sunday.
If I had a race season, if I ever had a race season, it was never in the summertime.
Yeah,
If
summertime sucks.
I don't even want
Well,
to run.
so-
I don't want to go outside.
So fall and winter fastness is built in the summer. You
Fall-
run in the
fall
heat.
and
That's
winter.
true.
Run in the heat, and you'll be faster when it cools down.
But that's so
It
terrible.
sounds
to run in
smart,
the
but I'm
heat.
not going to race. I'm not going to race in the heat.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to race.
I'm not
ever.
only going to race in the heat, but I'm going to be wearing a weight vest.
There you go.
So look out.
Crazy.
Look out for the
So-
weight vest.
There goes
So
Brian.
speaking of all
He's
your
way up
races, are you
there.
going to fit Tupelo half in there that I'm trying to get everybody to do?
I told you I put it on my calendar, but I have not committed yet.
Did you put that on your calendar or the root canal on your calendar? Because I know you. you were
I-
debating.
The root canal sounds more fun.
I really do like that race.
I like that
Hurdle-
course. It's just so.
Hurdle the week, trample
Tupelo.
the dead, or something like that.
Hot.
Trample the week, hurdle the dead, something like that.
That's why I won't ever do the marathon again. It was too hot to do that. But it's the
I do
sun's
feel like
coming
they're-
up while you're doing the half, so it's not too
That's a Saturday race, right?
Sunday.
I think the sun was going down when I was finishing half last year.
So did you notice on their website that they specifically said like the clocks will stop at 6 hours this time? Like
Yeah.
there's no like if you don't finish in 6 hours, you're done.
Oh, really? I thought they did that before. I thought they were really strict on
They-
the
they
cutoff
were.
time.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, the last few years
Oh,
I've
well,
done it, they
okay.
are. Yeah.
Maybe I just noticed it on the website because I thought somebody had said like they didn't quite make it under the 6 hours, but because they had gotten past the cutoff point, they still were allowed to finish or something.
Well, there was a street that you had to cross, but I think that street is right there at the end.
Gloucester, it's about a mile and a half, 2 miles out from it.
Which at the end of a marathon, I guess a mile and a half is a long ways, can be considered a long ways out.
That's the one with the that had the carnival out back.
Yes.
Last time we were there, and I got
Yes.
so freaked out when I got lost in the carnival. I was trying to go find a bathroom, and it was still dark in the morning time, and the carnival was still like lit up, but there was nobody there.
Right.
So it felt like I was like in this episode of the Twilight Zone, and I was like wandering around looking for a bathroom, and I was like, oh my God, some clown is going to jump out of one of these, or some carny's.
It's a weird deal, yeah.
Yeah.
What time of year is that?
August
September?
or September.
God, it's hot.
You know what the other negative was? It's Labor Day weekend.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I can't do anything on Labor Day weekend
That's-
now.
Why?
Yeah,
Because you're going to drink?
That's the
No,
other negative.
I always
like-
go out of town.
Yeah, I may be going
Oh.
out of town for that weekend or something. So
Or something. You're just,
that's
like,
the
coming
no,
up
no,
with
no.
these
I'm not trying to
things.
make it. I mean, it's a common weekend to travel.
It is.
and do things.
And
so.
everybody always plans things for that weekend for some
Yeah.
reason.
But I think
Well, I'm planning
ta-
to race.
talking about race season, like
I think you better race this thing. Amanda's not going to be happy with you.
I think starting this weekend up until Sylamore, I have like 25 races on my schedule.
That's kind of what I did
That's a
last year and
lot.
burnt myself. Oh,
Yeah, but I'm not running like marathons.
You're already signed
Oh.
up for all these
Well-
races? Or?
Most of them.
Wow.
yeah.
He's got them in an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got it on my phone. Like, is Brian going to be there? Oh, he'll be there. I'll sign up for that one.
I'm
Are you
like-
doing the Big
I'm like-
River?
I keep meaning to ask you about that since we ran that together last year.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to ask you.
It popped up on my email today, and I was like, I need to text Brian and see if he's going to run it.
Yeah.
I'll run it if you run it.
Well, are you coming off Chattanooga full the weekend before?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm the opposite of Brian. I have like these races I want to do that I'm not registered for. And, like there's like 50 spaces left in Big Hill Pond.
Oh wow.
Did you see that?
I'm the opposite of both of y'all. I don't have any races that I want to run.
You're registered for a lot, but you don't want to run any of them, right?
Are you not registered for Big Hill Pond?
Not yet. No.
I don't think he's registered for anything yet.
I'm
this
not
year.
registered for anything right now except for St. Jude.
I will tell you, I will be highly disappointed in you if you do not do Big Hill Pond.
I want to do Big Hill Pond.
Challenge
yeah.
in the comments. If you'll run Stanky Creek, Don will run Tupelo.
Oh, Dawn is.
I'm not running Stanky Creek. That'll be a cold day in.
I think it's probably best. Judging by the 2 miles that I had out there with Amanda, let's
I will
do what
never,
we can to keep Amanda
never
off of Stanky Creek.
run
Fair
that
enough.
trail again.
I don't
what was
think
I gonna
I don't
say?
think it would be as
Sorry.
bad at
I was
this
going
point.
to say something, and now I can't remember what
Talking about him being registered for Big Hill Pond.
Which needs
Lost
to
it.
happen.
It was really
That's, like,
good,
the
y'all. Now I
priority.
lost it. It's gone.
I've got Big Hill Pond, Tour to Spirit, and Chris Hope. Those are the
I need to
ones.
sign up for Tour de Spirit.
Chris Hope's watching right
that's
now.
Not going to go away.
I have not signed up for Tour de Spree.
I haven't either.
I haven't
I-
But I
either.
don't think that's a problem.
We got a
No, I
flyer
don't
in the
think it
mail.
is either.
We did.
Yep.
I got to figure out what my motivation is for that race.
What do you mean? What's your motivation? I'm going to be
Us.
there, and
You
we're
gotta
going to
be-
go around.
I
in
can come
circles.
hang out with y'all and not run the race. I can pace you through a couple miles and not be registered.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
All right,
I mean,
so do that.
We'll do
if
it
I'm
for the-
going to sign up for the race, then there needs to be
Oh,
some
man, I
goal
can-
Here's
or
the
purpose.
deal,
Do
though.
it for the
I guess I
kids
could
in
do that,
Haiti.
too.
I can donate money without running the race.
But here's the whole deal, though. So we're running the Tour de Spree. Is that what it's called?
I think that's the way it's
Then we're
pronounced.
going to the Chris
Esprit.
Hope, and then that night
Yeah, then
we have the Harry Potter thing at
yeah.
the Orpheum.
So you get like 24 hours of Brian. I hope you're ready for it.
Are you going to Harry Potter too?
Yes.
There's
Sitting right
there's-
next to you.
You don't
Sitting
think there's
right next
you don't
to
think
you.
there's any way that we'll skip the Harry Potter thing?
No,
I'm getting-
absolutely
o-
not.
Okay. Y'all take it easy.
Just to be clear,
I'm
I
stuck
know
in
who,
like this triangle of anger.
I know. No. I'm not angry at you at all. I just know who your wife is, and I know you will be there.
I will be there.
Okay, so let's break this
I
down.
will not be
You
in a
have-
good state of affairs if I run for 24 hours. If I run a 5K,
And then you got to climb into a small, tiny seat. It's probably our seats are probably in the middle of the row. And you're not even going to be able to stretch
have
out.
you ever
guys
seen
are
me
gonna-
get in and out of a vehicle after doing any distance at all? I mean,
No.
you've seen me try to go up the stairs after doing Sillamore.
that's a true
Can
story.
you imagine me trying to get around the Orpheum? Not
You
gonna be
guys are
pretty.
going to run 24. Okay, here's
You are too.
Let me break this down. We
To
have
be clear.
we have a 24-hour race that starts at like 4 o'clock
3
in
o'clock.
the afternoon on a Friday. Mm-hmm. You run until 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday.
3
Correct.
o'clock.
3 o'clock. Friday afternoon to 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
Correct.
In between that, we're
In the
gonna-
middle of that,
In the middle of that, Saturday morning, we're
Yes.
going to leave the 24-hour
to go
race,
downtown.
go downtown, run the Chris Hope 5K,
10K.
10K. I signed up for 10K.
Sign up for the
10K,
10K.
whatever
Okay.
it is we end up signing up for. Come back to the 24-hour race and continue running.
No,
Correct.
I think we go home.
No, we got to go pack up the stuff still.
Somebody's got to pack up the stuff. I can't.
Or
do
we
that.
burn it down. It's still
Let
a
it
coin
burn.
toss.
Well,
We give it to the
you
kids in
can't
Haiti.
not come back.
I can give it all up. There's going to be no way.
I'm going to have to go back just to run one more mile.
But then
I almost ran into my mailbox coming home last year, and I only stayed I was falling asleep the whole way home.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, Melissa Burgess said if she doesn't run 3.1 miles tomorrow morning, she owes each host and the cameraman $100 apiece.
well,
That
there you go.
sounds-
I need $100.
I do too.
I'll take it.
To buy that Apple iWatch.
You're,
Apple Watch. Which one is it? Apple Watch.
you are indebted to us, Apple Watch.
That she is looking for motivation, and she just put herself.
some kind of serious.
She's man. Imagine
needing
waking
about
up in the morning and being
$400
like, you know what? It's worth $400 not to go right now.
So we're running the Dopey Challenge next year, correct?
We are. Registration for that opens on Thursday of next week after we recorded this podcast.
Why
July
do they
19th.
keep pushing it off?
They just pushed it off one time.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Are you doing it?
I don't know.
There's.
You know my plan for the Dopey Challenge? Is to play Fortnite all weekend while y'all are gone.
I don't believe that you can play Fortnite as long as we are running.
Oh man, I can just do that
That is not. I could do that.
Yeah.
I know he could do it.
forever. Yep. The last time Amanda went out of town, 2 times ago, I went to the meat market and got 4 steaks. I ate steak, butter, salt, and played Fortnite.
I could do that if my son went out of town. I can't get in there.
He wouldn't give up the controller long
No,
enough
he
for you to
won't.
play like that.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's like-
that's why I had to buy a separate Xbox.
Right. I told him about that.
Hey, so Woot has Xboxes on sale right now for like $180.
Well, that's awesome. You know,
He can't even afford to register for the races he's got. He's
yeah.
not going to buy another Xbox.
Jackson said to my wife, Holly, he said, for my birthday, I think I want to get another PS4 so that Dad can play Fortnite with us. Like, that's not going to happen.
That's
so
awesome.
nice.
That's awesome that he wants to
Is
take
it-
his
isn't
birthday
it?
gift.
Yes, that is very
and
awesome.
Help you because he likes playing the game
Yeah.
with you.
I
Yeah.
would totally
Or
do
he
that.
either likes playing the game with you or he hates sharing with you. But we'll go with likes playing with you.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a good. That's a
He's
good
willing
thought.
to do that for you. Have you been willing to shave your armpits for him?
I know.
You still haven't done anything about that?
Have you trimmed them?
There was an attempt,
Okay.
but it was weird. And
It is
Do
kinda
I,
weird.
do I
I
need to
don't
hold a manscaping class
I
for
don't
you?
really want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well,
This is a
can't-
safe place.
you can't
There's-
be
I mean, it's
running-
just the 4 of us. Nobody else is listening.
Right. Right.
You can't be doing all these summer races with the top down and
You're
those
right, I
sleeves
can't.
looking like
You're right.
Wolfman's
Something's
brother.
gonna have to happen.
Wolfman's brother.
Do you know what Jackson said the other day? We were talking about growing beards or whatever, and he said to somebody, he was like, "My dad can't grow a beard; it all comes out under his arms."
That's fantastic.
He's hilarious.
He's really funny.
What else were we talking? Yeah, so 24-hour race in the middle of it. We're going to go do the Chris Hope 5K, 10K.
We're going to go do the Chris Hope. I'm going to go
because
I'm
Team LHRL is going to be well represented.
for some reason.
And we should take a moment to talk about the partnership we have with them. Have we done that yet?
With Chris Hope?
With Chris Hope?
No, we haven't. Let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about that.
Go ahead. We've got the Chris Hope 5K and 10K, which is October 6th. You need to go and you need to register under Team LHRL. If you don't like Lift Heavy Run Long, you can make your own team or sign up for any team. But
Why would you do that?
we just want people to sign up.
Maybe you don't like LHR.
I don't know. I don't know what people want.
Anyways,
I'm just trying. We
but when
want
you do
people
sign
to
up,
register, you don't even have to be at the event. You can do a virtual race.
which means you could just sign up and not actually run and just say you did it.
Say you did.
Correct. But we will put you on the LHRL app for free. Valerie Hunt has a 5K and a 10K program that she wrote specifically for the Chris Hope Foundation 5K and 10K. And we'll all be in a community. We'll all start the app on the same day. And we'll all be able to keep track of how
About 6 weeks out from the race, right?
6 weeks out from the race.
That'll all start. It'll be awesome.
And
Encourage
so we'll
each
all
other.
kind of know each other before the race. You know, it'll be a big group, and we'll know people's names and whatnot, and just make the race all that much more fun.
It's exciting.
Valerie is an international coach. She went to Israel and did a running clinic.
I saw
not
that.
too long ago, and she texted me today, and she was like, "I just got an athlete who is in some country that can't view Vimeo. Can you put this video on YouTube so that he can watch it?"
That's
I was like,
fantastic.
yeah, I can totally do that. So I did that, but isn't that crazy? Like, I don't even know. She didn't even
She's
tell me what country
kind
it
of
was.
a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, her presence internationally is huge. A lot of the subscribers on that try
it
the
is, yeah.
app
Yeah.
are foreign names. So
Very worldwide.
she's got more than one offered to be flown out to do running programs and even train an individual. There was somebody in like California that wanted them to come out and train their wife, just
Yeah.
her.
And I think she's back on the CrossFit circuit now because I think she's going to do a
Is she doing the pose clinics? for them?
CrossFit started. Well, they don't do pose anymore. I think they do.
No,
just
they don't do
running.
CrossFit endurance.
Yeah.
Now
They
it's
do
called
running.
CrossFit pose.
No, I don't even think it's called pose. I think it's just called running.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think they have ditched both of those things, and
fair enough.
we'd have to have Valerie clarify that.
Shout out to my son that's listening who says he came here just for curse words and whiskeys. You're going to be disappointed in this
In the wrong
podcast.
place.
Oh,
Oh, Stan's watching.
this is like the first show we're like preoccupied with people actually.
I mean, there's a ton of people watching though.
Yeah. We maxed out somewhere around 25 viewers at one point that I was watching.
Hey, you know what else I'm signing up for that I haven't signed up for yet? So I've been doing F3. Told you that.
Yep.
That's become my Saturday gig,
Yeah.
and I'm really into it. I really enjoy doing it. And they have a Go Ruck weekend, which is
Okay.
there's something going on in my earphones. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's Bernard calling me. And so it's I guess it's like a 72-hour weekend. It's a men's leadership retreat basically, and part of it is the fellowship, and then on Saturday night you start rucking and you stop sometime Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon.
Good luck with that.
But I think that'll be a fun deal. So I'm gonna do it with my buddy.
I think the fellowship part of it would be amazing. It's kind
Yeah.
of it's kind of like what I talk about with our race trips. It's a whole lot of fun except for the running part.
That's right. And it's an opportunity for me I was talking to a friend of mine, my very best friend from high school, that we probably see each other twice a year, if that.
Sure.
And it's like, I'm not going to do this if you don't do this. And if we don't do this, then we won't see each other. So we might as well, just kind of
Go do
force
this thing.
ourselves
Yeah.
to do it. And I think it's a great opportunity to, kind of keep yourself plugged in, even when you don't really kind of want to.
Do you have to go and get a ruck?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all.
But they also will, if you'll agree to wash it, you do a shout out, and somebody will mail you a ruck. They're happy to do that. And they have some kind of patch system where like you send them back a patch or they'll send you a patch or something. I don't
do
really.
each of the different F3 groups have their own official patch?
I think that's what it is.
That's kind of an awesome deal.
The whole thing's a really awesome deal in a lot of ways, but it's also like coming into CrossFit where there's a lot of terms, a lot of terminology that you have to learn. And I don't really understand most of what they're talking about most of the time. But I think just like anything else, as I stay plugged into it, I'll figure it out. Kind of. So, go ruck.
Go ruck.
Go ruck.
I might be doing a go ruck at some point. I don't know when though.
I can get into rucking for sure.
I
That's
could get
definitely
into
my,
it.
Well, so-
my
It's got-
speed.
So that's
Pun intended.
that's kind of part of what the weight vest thing kind of leads into for me. This is like step one of rucking.
It's one of those sports. It's like being a cyclist. Like if you want to be an Ironman, well, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I got to go buy all this equipment. I got to invest in this thing. I feel like that's the same type of thing. You know, you got to buy a ruck. You got to.
It's just one backpack with weight in it.
Well, I disagree. I mean, I think there's probably more than that. And once you get into it, you'll be like, oh, well, there's all these other things that I can get into.
A better backpack.
Right. Or like strictly running, it's like I could just go run. Right. There's running shoes, but you know.
Running can get pretty costly on the gear too.
Yeah, but like bikes cost like $5,000.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna find a ruck
like-
pack for $5,000.
But
Ben, you're so hard on them.
but I could. He
just
but
busting
it's
him
okay. So you could find. Okay, I'm going to go get a ruck, and then I need. And let's just say I'm going to start. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing these ruck races. Well, each one of them is $150.
Okay.
You know, like it's not like you're going to go run a $20 5K. You know,
Fair enough.
Like I could run 5Ks all day long, but if I'm going to start rucking, there's certain kind of shoes you got to buy. Like, are you going to wear just your regular running shoes? No,
I am.
because what's going to happen is when you get into it, you're going to look at all these other people that are doing this ruck thing, and they're wearing all this other stuff that runners don't wear. It's like strictly just rucking people.
I think that's the case with any sport. I don't think rucking has
I'd
a
say, and that's
cornerstone of
exactly
that.
what I just said.
No,
It's
Vaughn just
like
said not to ruck. He said rucking's stupid.
Rucking is stupid. And
That is so
it's
close-minded
expensive,
of you.
and-
I thought you were more
and
open-minded.
other
So-
sports are way easier to get into. And
so narrow-minded.
And he said, I'm dumb for doing it.
You're right.
They have
Vaughn is so defeated
like,
right now.
whatever.
He's like, I'm just messing
they have
with you, man.
rucking groups all the time. When I go there for F3 in the morning, they have people that have already been there rucking, which would be really good for me because I don't care anything about getting faster from a running standpoint. I care about finishing races. I care about making cutoff times, and I care about not being 400 pounds.
And see, that's the other part of the weight vest / rucking thing for me is I figure if I get used to running with the weight vest and then take the weight vest off, then I'm just naturally faster without really training to be faster, without
think
like
there's
doing all the
truth to
speed
that.
work and
Yeah.
everything else that everybody else has to do.
You know, I thought that one time, and then I posted a video of like running with the weight vest on, and like a barrage of people like commenting, going, "You know, that doesn't help at all." It's kind of like wearing the mask.
Yeah.
Valerie likes to wear the mask, and people put the mask on and run. And if you
altitude training.
yes, and don't ever post a picture of yourself wearing a mask or a weight vest running, because people are like, "Oh, you know, this doesn't work." Science is
Science is.
Science says this.
yeah. You're not. It doesn't.
Science
it
says you're
doesn't work.
stupid.
It's okay that you do it, but as long as you know it's pointless.
If I can run a half marathon with a weight vest on, and I'm going to make up a time, 2 hours and 15 minutes,
Then you're a god.
and then I take that weight vest off, then one of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to be able to run the half marathon faster than 2 hours and 15 minutes, or I'm still going to be able to run it in 2 hours and 15 minutes, but be less of an effort.
I would tend to agree with you.
Those are the only two possible outcomes.
I'm not a scientist like everybody on Twitter.
Like everybody else
Like,
in the world
like
is.
everybody else that has all the knowledge
Right.
in the world.
What about the
I don't
lady
know.
that's running 50 Ironmans in 50 days? Is that the coolest thing in the world? I think
Sounds
that
awesome.
it is.
I thought it was pretty cool, yeah.
Boy, people really get up in arms about it.
I think
I like the people that say, I just hope that she doesn't get hurt. I feel like that you really think more than that. Like, who doesn't? Isn't it just kind of implied or assumed that you hope she doesn't get hurt?
That's the answer. That's the thing that you say when what you really want to say
You
is
just can't say it.
I'm pretty sure she's going to get hurt.
Yeah, no. She's going to get hurt or she's stupid.
She's stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
And I am smart.
I just hope she doesn't get hurt. We all hope she doesn't get hurt. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt.
Yeah, we didn't really need to say that out loud. Right.
Right. Who goes around going, man, I really hope you get hurt when you do that. My whole thing was, and I think on that thread in our group, I said this, when Dean Karnazes ran, I think he ran 50 marathons in 50 days.
In 50 states.
In 50 states.
Yes.
But it wasn't like, and it's something about that's always puzzled me, and because I haven't looked at it. Like, I always thought, like, man, if you could go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I ran marathons 50 consecutive days in 50 separate states. That seems impossible. But that's not really what he did.
No. He ran a marathon. He didn't run an official race. He came to Memphis. He came to Memphis and he ran the St. Jude course.
Right. And so in my
brain, and he did it like on a Wednesday. And so that was his Tennessee, and I don't know that he came to Memphis. I'm making that up, but I'm just saying he ran an official course.
Yes. And in my left-handed brain, when somebody says I ran 50 marathons in 50 days, it means you ran 50 marathons in 50 days, and I thought the same thing.
50 races.
Right. That's what I'm thinking in my head. And so when somebody says I'm going to run 50 Ironmans in 50 days, I was kind of thinking the same thing. So I was kind of curious, like, are you going to do this?
Then I'll run an Ironman on Wednesdays.
Right. Exactly. You can't. You're not going to find. But when I was thinking about it, you could probably find a marathon that's ran on a Wednesday somewhere in the country. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, I watched the first 10 minutes of the Iron Cowboy yesterday.
That dude died, I think.
Did he really? Well, make sure that you spoil it for me.
No, I haven't seen the
Iron Cowboy.
I haven't seen the movie, but someone died. Never mind. We'll talk about that some other time.
But they were saying that the hardest part of it was the logistics, or it was going to be the logistics. Yeah. And so he started in Hawaii, was his first one. And I got 11 minutes into it, and I thought, this is so good. I'm enjoying this so much, I'm going to wait for Amanda to watch it.
And so how many did he do?
He was 50 and 50.
Okay.
So he's already done it.
Yeah, he completed it. He did it.
You just ruined the movie.
Yeah, really. We're not watching the Iron Cowboy anymore. And I was talking about the Iron Cowboy, and Paul Pinkley was like, yeah, what's that guy's name? Like
Marathon Mike
or something. And I was like, it's the Iron Cowboy. And I don't think he was going to be happy if you call him Marathon Mike.
Man, I really
just think about okay, so forgetting
up.
For a second the physical exertion that would be required to run 50 marathons in 50 days or 50 Ironmans in 50 days, leading back to the 24-hour Tour de Spree and going to the Orpheum that night. Like, can you imagine like getting in a car for hours to drive each night? I mean, your sleep schedule has to be limited. Like, everything's going to be limited on like the shortened timeline and how you like have to maximize your recovery and everything else. Like, forgetting for a second how difficult it would be just to do the running part of it, the getting from place to place, the recovering, the fueling, and everything else would just be amazing, and amazingly difficult. I mean,
I just feel like they would get rhabdo.
Well,
That's okay.
and, I don't know.
Obviously not.
I don't know. Again, I'm not a scientist. It's like running with
but
the
you
mask.
can be if you just act like one.
Let's put the I'm not a scientist in that category of things we don't need to say out loud. It's kind of obvious.
Well, yeah, just in case any of you are mistaken out there on Facebook.
Another implied.
Exactly.
Someone on Facebook thought I was a scientist. Make sure you know.
Oh, I'm so mean. I told you guys I'm a little snarky today. Maybe it's because it's just us.
But you're tough on Vaughn.
That's because I love him so much.
That's right.
There's a guy that it's not the Iron Cowboy. I wish my phone would work in here.
You know, Alex Viada is training that girl.
I saw that. Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That's crazy awesome.
Really awesome. Yeah, and that's the guy it's great that he's training her, because everybody that's like, well, I don't think you should do that. I don't think she can do this and that, and she's going to die, or I hope she's okay. Like, that's the dude to be like, well, let's talk about why you think that's true. He'll totally have that conversation.
And not let's just argue about why it's yes and no, but like let's throw in the data.
He knows
I mean,
the science behind
golly.
it.
Yeah.
I mean,
He is.
He is
a scientist.
Well,
He is
I
science.
don't know about that.
Did he
but
graduate from Duke?
I don't know.
I know he
He's-
went to Duke.
He's a smart dude, man.
Yeah.
I think if he graduated with a degree that ends in science, then he should be able to call himself a scientist.
Sure.
If he's got
especially
an
if you go to-
exercise science degree, then he is an exercise scientist.
What is the criteria for being?
I'm
a
telling you
scientist?
right now, his degree ends in science.
I got a bachelor in
So
science.
if I have a degree in computer science, I'm a scientist.
You are a scientist. You are a computer scientist.
Can anyone that's watching this tell me if Alex Fiata graduated from Duke? There's gonna be people out there that are like, he didn't even go to Duke.
He didn't go to college.
He didn't go to
If
college.
you
He
go-
never ran a race.
If you go and look up his college results on the internet, you will find that he didn't go to college.
He's not from here. He's from where Obama was born.
He's never even ran a 5K. I
Thanks,
saw,
Obama.
I saw a result that was posted that was completely fake. And it wasn't even him when I went and looked at the race photos. It was just some other guy that looked like me. Didn't look like him at all.
You know what else? Okay, so as he was going down that road of that conversation, I thought he was kind of turning this into like, this guy's full of crap and he didn't actually do any of this stuff type thing. We should talk about the daily dumbbell.
The Daily Dumbbell.
Like, holy crap, that has been funny.
Man deadlifts 500 pounds, runs ultra marathon. Like, that's not a joke.
That's not a joke.
Hashtag not the daily dumbbell.
Not the daily dumbbell. Wilson, tell me about the daily dumbbell. What is that?
It's just a satirical news website. It all started with Scott Hollis. Okay, so Gary goes in the hospital, has a heart attack, goes in the hospital, and Scott sends me a text that says, "Give me some Fortnite lingo." And what he was looking for was a fake news site, and he was going to write an article about
That
obviously.
picture was legit.
And so he puts that picture up that says CrossFit athlete fakes heart attack, plays Fortnite instead, which I think that kind of stuff is so funny. I think the Onion kind
That
of
was
humor
really funny. That
is
one,
so
yeah.
funny. And then the very next day at CrossFit, I asked you a question, and it was a ridiculously stupid question. And I knew as it was coming out of my mouth that it was a really dumb question.
I remember you calling yourself out about the question. I don't remember what the question was.
And then you reiterated that was probably the stupidest question I've ever been asked as a
I
coach. And so we laughed about that. And I said, we should keep track of all this. We should have an Olive Branch CrossFit newsletter that goes out every month of all the stupid stuff that goes on. And then Scott Hollis comes through the door, and I said, we should have a newsletter of all the stuff that goes on. And then we start collaborating, and we decided, so
the daily dumbbell.
So I started a website.
And got 5, 6, 7 articles out there right now, maybe more.
We started out with about 10. I
10.
wanted to have something loaded. I couldn't
yeah.
decide whether I wanted to put them out one at a time or just go ahead, because they're really easy to write. They're really short. There's not much. There's almost no depth to it,
Sure.
which makes it all the more fun.
Yeah, the headline is pretty much the entire
That's it.
article.
The headline
Yeah.
is it.
That's it.
all you need.
And you get through that headline, there may be a funny quote.
Right.
And so after that, you either like it or you don't. It's not something that you have to sit and stew or make a big deal about. But then we put 10, 12 articles up there. We released the one about Brian Williams and the Big Hill Pond, the race director that has a race with no finish line.
Right.
And it goes crazy. And so, the first day I was like, this is fun. This is, had 600 people come here. This is great. And it got shared 40 times or something.
Right.
And then somebody found the one of me getting kicked out of the aid station for getting kicked out of the race for not leaving the aid station. Next thing we know, the second day we got 10,000 people coming to the site, and it's been shared.
Has it really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I hope it continues to be just as stupid as it's been, because I've loved it. I've loved it.
I mean, I've read the one. I haven't gone looking for additional articles if there are more out there, but I've read all the ones that have been posted, or that you've shared or whatever, and they've all cracked me up. I think the Sean Hillsden one hit a little too close to home for everybody. Did you see the whole comment stream? April's in there defending him.
That makes it even better. It was like a little too close to true.
there's a line there, and
Right.
and for me, that's a hard line. It's
But
already
you knew
been-
that he was capable of taking it
I knew
in tongue
Sean,
in cheek. Yeah,
but I still had the concern. I was nervous as hell about putting Brian Williams out there, because if you wake up and you see a picture of yourself
right.
with a blatant lie
Right.
about it, I mean, he's a professional guy.
Right.
You know, he's a successful guy. Somebody could take that the wrong way. He could be having a bad day. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not be happy
That's the
about
only
it.
thing I was thinking about is like it's when you because it's a worldwide thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you actually know those people, and that's okay. But you have to make sure either to use a fake name or make sure they're okay with it.
And
you
I
know,
wasn't doing either.
Sure, but I think that's okay too. But it'll work itself out.
But as an overthinker, that was a lot on me, and so
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that response from Brian. Like, "Ooh, I
Has
posted
he
it."
responded?
Oh, he just
just
went
laughed
nuts.
about it.
Look at that
Yeah.
thing went all over the place. I've seen it,
And
several
we've
different
been
places.
back and forth. He's gotten a huge kick out of it.
Sure.
I've been thinking about it. Like I love this kind of stuff, but there's one that you can do that I think will be brilliant. That involves the CrossFit coach going, "Just keep moving, just keep moving," and like here's the vision in my head. The coach, he's just keep moving. And he's on his phone, right?
Well, don't give it away if you got
Like-
something for us to write about.
Well, if you're listening, you'll see it. But and then like the guy has a heart attack on the floor. You're like, just keep moving, just keep moving, and you're taking a picture of somebody else on the.
I probably have maybe 40, probably 30 articles already
can.
in my
Yeah. So like
notebook.
that day, we had a conversation about it where you said something in the gym about it. Like a little while later in Slack, he had a channel set up, and he invites me to the channel, and I said, my only concern is, are you going to be able to create continuous stream of content? And he just immediately spit out.
Oh, he's got no problem
Like
with
15
that.
or 20 just headline ideas. Like what the headline. And I was like, okay, this is not gonna be a problem.
Well, he's written an article a day for over 2 years.
Well, I know,
long
but
time.
but my mind, and maybe it is the practice of the writing and stuff like that, but my mind just can't come up with the
I can't
satirical headlines. And I mean, he
It's
just
hard to be
immediately,
funny, yeah.
popped them out, and I'm laughing at just the headlines that he wrote, and those articles haven't even made it onto the site yet, that I remember from Slack.
That's
so,
correct.
anyways, I just. I was worried about whether you could keep it going, but you've got the mind for it, that satirical
At this
mind.
point, I'm having problems turning it off. I mean, I really like this style of writing, and it makes me, I don't know where it's going to go. I want to have fun with it, and I want to do it with that. Part of my problem is that I worry about offending people, and I take criticism seriously, and this is an arena that you get into, and people are going to get offended, and people are going to throw mud back the other way, and there's going to be.
Yeah, and I think you have to go into it knowing it's going to happen, and just accepting it for what it is. I always used to tell people about listening to Howard Stern, if you aren't insulted at least once during every one of his shows, then you don't care about anything.
Right.
He's going to offend everybody at some point during the show, and you just have to. Laugh at the parts you think are funny, get offended at the parts you think that aren't funny, and you go on with life and realize
Well,
that he's not serious about any of it.
Yeah. That's a big thing. I've gotten into comedy a lot lately, where I watch comics and how they do things and everything, and they have to push the envelope.
Sure.
Otherwise, you're not going to continue to be funny. So you have to have people that are going to say things that people go, "Oh my God, did he just say that?" Well, yeah, he did just say that. He has to. That's what comics do.
Right.
And now it's gotten to the point where they're kicking them off college campuses, and it's a real thing because they can't.
Because everybody's getting so sensitive about it.
Everybody's so sensitive because you invite a comic on stage for the kids to watch. He's going to say something that's going to offend somebody.
There's some group that
Because
exists
that's
on that
what-
campus that's going to be insulted by something that guy
Well, that's
says,
what,
or
that's what they
person
do,
says.
and that's an important part of it. You're going to have to make people mad if you really want to be funny.
I think you haven't succeeded with the Daily Dumbbell until you've pissed people
Until
off.
you've made
I
somebody
believe
mad.
that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Let me tell you who doesn't concern himself with that at all is
Scott
Mr.
Hollis.
Scott Hollis.
Oh, he doesn't care at all.
He's already got one that I said, we just can't.
Oh,
it's,
really?
It's the funniest thing that I've ever read. But I said, man, I got family members. I won't be able to go back. I won't be able to sit at their table. I just don't think that we can do it. And it's one of those where if he were to post this, it's a million hits. It's an international. It will go everywhere. But it will also, a lot of people will really not like it.
Papa G wants you to know that he's offended by easily offended people.
So I don't know. It should be fun. I'm enjoying doing it. Thanks for
good.
bringing it up.
Yeah, man. I have been laughing a lot at those articles, and it's good stuff. I hope you can keep the wheels turning.
I'm glad to hear you say that you haven't looked at the ones that haven't been posted.
Well, intentionally, because when I saw that there were other articles out there, and I would rather, it's kind of like Breakfast with Beefcake. I'd rather just have one article to read in the morning and then always have stuff queued up that I know is coming.
I like to hear you say that because I've struggled with that. Like, do we start putting out fresh content, or is it okay to release kind of what's already in there? Because there hasn't been a lot of views on the other stuff that hasn't been released.
Yeah, I think you did it right. Like, you posted 10 articles just to fill up the site, so it makes it look like the site is not brand new.
Mm-hmm.
You release those over the next 10 days, and then you've already got your other articles written that you start posting like a day at a time after that, or maybe a couple a day, or whatever you want to do. But
I think it'll be important to be non-discriminatory and go after powerlifters, CrossFitters, runners, cyclers, and
the cyclist story really got me cracked up today.
Good. I'm glad it did. What else you guys got? We're at the hour mark.
Do we have any reviews?
Oh, we got reviews. Yes, we got reviews, but we need more reviews because we're running out of
we have so many listeners that apparently enjoy when it's just us hosts on here, because it was commented on earlier that we get more live viewers when it's just us than we do when we have a guest. So all of you that are listening at home that enjoy when it's just us, maybe you should go leave a review about these just us episodes.
I'm going to tell you why right now before he reads the review, because I know, because I figured this out, because I've listened to so many podcasts in the last 6 months. The ones that I go back to every single time are the ones that are just like this. Like, and I'll give you two examples. One is the last podcast on the left, and it's a horror. It's supposed to be a horror movie podcast, but what they do is they analyze like criminals and murderers and things like that. But the topic doesn't matter because they're hilarious and they interact with each other like we do, just like this. There's like 4 of them, and they'll be telling a story about somebody getting killed and murdered, and then some guy cracks a joke and they'll go off on a tangent about some stupid thing. It's like sitting down with 3 of your friends and just shooting the conversation. Right?
I guess with a guest we do less tangents because we're trying to be respectful of them.
And that's the thing I like. If you listen to Macaulay Culkin's podcast, Bunny Ears, it's exactly like sitting down with like 2 of your friends, and they're like just talking about, it doesn't matter. They're going down the rabbit hole of like whatever topic we want to talk about. And if you go off on a tangent, that's okay. They're funny.
Sure.
Well, let me ask you this. And Amanda, you can't answer with every week. How often can we do the Just Us podcast?
Aw.
Does Amanda want to get rid of our guests?
She really likes the Just Us podcast.
It's awesome.
Is once a month too often?
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
I would do it every week.
That would sure relieve a lot of.
We could do it once a month until the live viewing drops off. That'll be our indicator that people think we're less funny.
We should probably go.
We should do it less often.
Okay.
No, I think the more you do it, the better you.
So y'all are good with that. If once a month, if once every 4 weeks, I tell you I don't have anybody.
Dawn says monthly.
Yeah,
at least.
Dawn says monthly.
I'm good with coming.
Whatever
here.
Dawn says, because I like her style.
Well, plus the guest can like bring up topics as well, since we sit here and read, more of this.
Our live viewers can bring up topics.
Speaking of topics, if you ever have daily dumbbell topics, please send those to me.
Is there a place that they can send those to you?
Yeah, where do they send those to you?
info@dailydumbbell.com.
Okay.
How many emails do you have?
Well, it just goes.
All of them.
It just goes to wilsonworld@gmail.com. But it makes me sound important.
Oh, okay.
So,
I have a lot that I don't really keep. Well, they all go to my phone, but
yeah.
it's hard to keep up
Yeah,
with.
I have a lot of separate email addresses, but most of them forward to my main address.
Oh, can you do
so-
that? Sounds
yeah.
so like not tech savvy.
And that way I can separate it. So if it gets too big, then I can be like, okay, stop forwarding it. This needs to be like its own email box that I can manage separately and that kind of a thing.
Oh wow. So what's our review?
Oh, yeah.
See what happened was.
You want to know how many stars it is?
I'm sure it's
I did.
five.
It's 8.
It's 8
Eight
stars.
8 stars.
That is a Daily Dumbo reference if you don't know. So you should go check out the Daily Dumbo.
That's right. It's a 5-star review. Great and energetic host by Wall Balls. Can't say enough about this show. The hosts are great, dynamic mix of personalities with engaging guests. They bring in a varied group of guests with all kinds of different stories and backgrounds. A little bit for everyone, from the ultra runner to the heavy lifter to the everyday CrossFitter. There you go.
Well, thank you, Wall Balls with the Z.
Wall Balls with a Z. So you've already read it.
I have.
Y'all aren't supposed to be doing
I
that.
don't do that.
This
I
is
respect-
important
I
time
respect-
for me.
I can't
respect
help
your
it.
wishes.
Oh, man.
3 times a day.
You're coming down on my Christmas and you're peeking in the packages. You're seeing what Santa brought.
3 times a day, I'm on iTunes looking at our category and seeing where we are. and
How
trying
are
to-
we? Where are we?
We're not.
Aw.
Did we fall off?
We're off.
Aw.
We're not even on the radar. It's weird. Like, it's weird how it can bounce around from day to day. You know, and we broke the top 200.
I
That one
wonder
time
how
we
much that
missed.
little hiccup last week affected us. Or were we off before that?
We were off before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally, like I made a big deal about being in the top 200. The next day we were gone and never came back.
Son of a.
But that's cool.
No, it's very cool.
What's
I'm
cool
like,
about that is knowing what it takes to get to the top 200, and it was less than I would have thought that it took to get to the top 200. So we'll get to where we're consistently. In the
oh
top
yeah,
200.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm fascinated with it. Like I'm gonna figure this thing out. Like
We're at the point
I
where we
wanna
should
know-
start blaming individuals for us not being there.
Right.
Like maybe it's Gary Kale's fault.
I think it's Gary.
Maybe it's Dawn's
Hey,
fault.
Gary
fact-
brought up a topic
maybe-
for us to talk about.
Maybe he
Rhode
could've-
Island. It's neither a road nor an island. Discuss.
Maybe Gary could have done more.
Here's a fun fact for you, Gary. My 10th great grandfather is Roger Williams, the founder of Rhode Island.
did you ever listen to the podcast Crime Town about the mayor of Providence, Rhode Island?
That's
No.
great about your
It's
Uncle
a good
Ted.
one.
I kind of got blown over.
It's just so interesting. Can you tell it again?
Okay.
Is that it? That's all we got.
Provincetown. What?
We got
The mayor.
Amanda had something.
I remembered what I was going to say way back when we were having our discussion on the races. I've signed up for the St. Jude half. I'm a hero. So if y'all want to donate to my hero fund, please go to St. Jude and look me up.
Yes.
Amanda Horrell.
Me too.
Please. I'm always at the end scraping and begging and, thinking I'm going to have to pay out a bunch of money. So please, it's for a good cause.
Please.
There you
Please,
go.
sir, may I have another?
Lift Heavy Run Long number 106 is in the books.
Boom.